So everybody's got to eat. Good bacteria got to eat, we got to eat, bad bacteria got to eat, right? How do we make sure that we're feeding the good guys?
Yeah, so we definitely want to be feeding the good guys. And there are three things I'm going to think of just off the top of my head that I think could be really helpful tips in how we feed the good guys. First, I think a lot of people have heard about eating probiotic rich foods. So those probiotics are really good to feed the good guys. And a lot of times these things that I'm talking about are selective. They know to feed the good guys and not feed the bad guys. So we bring in probiotic rich foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, fermented vegetables, miso, which you can get from soy or not soy forms these days. Any fermented kefirs, whether it's from a dairy source or a coconut source, yogurt, again, dairy or coconut, whatever you can tolerate. I haven't eaten that many fermented or high meats, have you? You've probably
Not so much,
yes.
no.
Raw meats that are naturally fermented without sugars. There are populations who really work with eating some of those high meats. So there are all these ways that we feed our good bacteria through our fermented foods, and it's not a one-time thing. It's something we want to include in our diets on a regular basis and be thinking about, how do I feed the good bacteria and therefore my health, and what does it mean to be doing that? So you eat probiotic rich foods daily if you're able, and that's one way that we can
Does
feed
anybody
them.
really do that though?
I know it's tough.
Yeah,
Some
it's
people
tough
do.
even for healthy guys like me. I don't
I
really want to
know.
eat fermented foods every day.
I agree.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not that easy for people to get in there. I actually, at Replenish, we tend to work with people who are pretty motivated in that direction. And so I do have people that act as my students and even clients. They're my inspiration because they're doing it. They're fermenting their own foods. They're making kombucha, all those things that help to benefit our good bacteria. I think it is a practice. And once you get in the practice, it's easier to remember.
You do what you have to do to get better.
Exactly.
Well, what about probiotic supplements?
I'm a fan of probiotic supplements because I think many people are depleted in their good bacteria these days. So I like to work with a multi-strain, really lower billion usage probiotic.
What does that mean, lower billion?
So people are often looking at how many parts per billion in the probiotic and going for the highest, thinking highest is best. That doesn't always work for people because they may have a lot of that war going on. So we have to slowly build, and sometimes we have to get really specific. So that's where I might be doing a stool analysis or looking at an organic acids test to see metabolites from the bacteria, so we know specifically what does this person need. So it's important to remember that the bacterial population in you is as unique to you as your fingerprint. So none of us are the same, so we can't just say that one off the shelf is the right one for me. It might feel horrible in me, it might make you feel great and improve how your energy feels and your poop and just feel like the best thing ever, and we can't say that one size fits all.
So on the stool test, you'll actually see if this person is low in lactobacillus, so you'll put
Yes.
them on lactobacillus supplement?
Absolutely. So I'm going
Okay.
to look at a strain, something that is just lactobacillus, or conversely something that's higher in bifidum. I might even get more specific there. There's more and more research that gets into strain specificity. So which strains of which species are for which kinds of conditions. So I might not be able to see that from a test, but working with signs and symptoms, get into some strain specificity. I typically do that down the line a little bit, because if I'm working with a multi-strain probiotic, then I'm going to be able to just make sure we're kind of hitting all targets, and then if we still need to, get into some strain specificity.
In an ideal world, everybody would get a stool test. Everybody would get a practitioner.
There's so many, exactly.
Yeah, but if they couldn't afford it, if that's not really in the cards for them, is there a general recommendation that you can give them for probiotics?
Yeah, we have a store, so it's called replenishme.com, and we have our standard probiotic, which is Gut Pro, which is very high. It's for highly sensitive people. So it doesn't have D-lactate, which people can be reactive to. It doesn't have maltodextrin, which some of them have. So it's for very sensitive people, and we also can do it very slowly, really start to build up. in the quantity that somebody's taking in what I would call probiotic therapy. So we're really building up the probiotics.
Give us some more foods that feed the good bacteria.
Yeah, so another one I like to think about are the polyphenols, and we often think about those in relation to antioxidants or phytonutrients like blueberries, but they also really help to feed some of the short chain fatty acids in the colon that help with tissue repair. So the important ones that I like to think about there, and they all have some historical basis, are blueberries for sure, green tea, which I'm a fan of drinking a matcha. I drink a matcha, thick matcha green tea, chocolate. But I have a caveat with chocolate, and raw apple cider vinegar. All those work as good polyphenols in the system to help feed the short chain fatty acids in the colon that help with our tissue repair in the entire digestive system. Pistachios as well are, if they're not, if they're fresh and they haven't fermented in any way or gotten stale or moldy.